Sans Mikey, which also for some odd reason means Sans opening theme music. Don't know
Yeah.
why. Uh, we are not professionals, ladies and gentlemen. We are not
No,
professionals. How you
no.
doing, Lara?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, how
I'm
was
doing
your
all right.
week?
How I mean, it was good. We are wrapping up kind of spring semester, and then we have a little bit of a break, and then we're back June 4th. So, preparing for interns and all that good stuff, last minute summer planning stuff.
When do your kids
So
get out?
they get out May 30th. May
Oh,
30th.
you guys get out a little earlier.
Yep.
And
Yep, May
then
30th. And then I think some of the private schools, like the private school here at the church, they get out June 4th. So
okay.
public May 30th, and then some private schools June
And then
4th.
you start June what?
We start June 4th with our welcome party to welcome in the
Oh,
sixth
okay. So that's
graders.
not much of a downshift.
No, no,
No.
we not at all. It's full throttle after that.
Well, I mean, I'm
We're
sorry. Downshift. I was gonna choke. Sorry. I didn't mean downshift. I mean like there's not much downtime
Oh yeah.
between
Yep.
school year and
Yep.
summer.
Yep. We like to
Gotcha.
get it going. Get it started right
Yeah.
away. Yep.
Um,
How about you? How's your week?
yeah, interesting. So I wasn't with you guys because we were
Yeah.
visiting a church.
Yep.
And so that was an incredible weekend. It was really neat. So my wife was telling a coworker,
Mhm.
and I'm sharing this as like, man, this was like paradigm shifting for me. So if you're ever in this position and you're candidating and you're going to different churches and you're going through that process, which is like the weirdest process
Yeah.
in the world. You start talking to a place, and we're in conversation with a couple of places, and so we're going through this. It's like online dating.
I was just about to say it kind of feels like dating
It's so
a little bit.
weird. And then
Yeah.
I'm 48 years old. I feel like a middle schooler passing a note like, "Hey, do you like me?" Check yes, check no. Like this
Check
kind
no.
of, kind of
Yeah.
takes you to that level of insecurity and like
Yeah.
awkwardness, and it's like a middle school dance. You're like, "I like. Do you like me? Do I like
Yeah. Right.
you?" Like it's so
Yeah.
weird. And but yeah, so my wife was confiding in a coworker that she was nervous. Sorry, I'm changing my do not disturb because I'm getting text messages. That she was nervous, and the
Yeah.
coworker said, "Why?" Who's another Christian? She said, "You're gonna go meet brothers and sisters in Christ in another
Yeah.
place."
Yeah.
And that would like that sounds so elementary,
Right.
but it really was like we're like, oh, okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna go just meet Christians in another place, and it was really wonderful. Like it was a very social
Right.
experience in this, like
Right.
not so much like discussing nuts and bolts. It was more like you're gonna go
Mhm.
out with all these people, and it's gonna be more relational and see if how you connect with all these different groups of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where we were at. Did you hear that terrible noise?
Yeah. It
Okay.
sounded like it sounded like a raptor or something.
Yeah. Okay. So we needed. I'm glad that happened
Pterodactyl.
now, so we can get it out of the way.
Okay.
I record the podcast in a corner of our youth area,
Okay.
which is currently overrun with parrots
Oh, wow.
inside,
Okay. Inside?
inside the building.
Oh, okay.
I've
That's like the
spent
Fort Lauderdale airport. Have you been there where like the
yes,
birds are
yes,
in the building?
yeah, but this is a much smaller space, and I've been
Oh
running
gosh,
around.
with
It's hot
parrots.
in here because I have doors and windows open.
Yeah. To like
I've
get
been
them
trying
try to
to
get them
herd
out.
them out. It's like ministry in Miami is not unlike living in Jurassic Park. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I mean, I remember the first time I went to Miami and there were just peacocks just roaming the streets. I was like, what is this? Yeah, okay, well you have parrots in your youth
Yeah.
building.
So
Is
if you
that
hear
like
it,
a recurring
no, this is a new
thing
like
or
the perimeter has been breached.
Oh.
This is a new development, but like
Yep.
whenever I come into the building now, there's like parrots in the building, and we have this becomes like a thing. So we've got to find out where they're coming from. And when I say we, I mean the facility. I am the last
Right.
guy that's going to solve this problem.
Right. It
And
could be turned into a youth game, you
I
know?
no, because
Catch the
this
parrots.
no, this is like prime. Like, listen, I've been in a lot of dangerous situations.
Yeah.
I've had a gun to my head on more than one occasion. I've
Oh my
held on
goodness.
to the wing of an airplane at 3,000 feet
For real?
outside the airplane. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't play with birds. Don't play with, nope.
I hear
They're
you.
terrifying. Terrifying to me.
I do not like birds either.
No.
Nope.
And birds, basically, like if you are the master of another environment, I
Yeah.
am not going to mess with you. I can't fly. You can fly. I'm out.
Yep.
And that goes for sharks.
Oh yeah, no way.
Until
why I-
sharks start biting people on land, we're cool. I won't. If I'm not going to go where you are, you don't go where I am. We're cool. If
That's
if
why
they
I
start
don't
coming on
swim in the
land, I'm a
ocean.
part of the uprising. I'm going to be the
Right.
resistance. But like I am not. Hey, this is my place. That's your place. That's your place. Everybody
Yep.
just stay in their
Yep.
corners,
Not
and we're
going
going to
in
be
your
cool.
Yeah. No.
So I'm not the
exactly.
guy to chase out the parrots. I'm terrified. I look like
Yeah, you're running the opposite direction.
yeah, I look like
Yeah.
a terrified small child. Like it's not. You will lose all respect for me if you watch me run from a bird.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well,
So yeah,
Eric's in
that's
the youth room. All right. Also joining us live.
yeah. Oh, have we had anybody here?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, gotcha.
I think just the parrots.
Just yeah,
You
just
know, if they
and they've got questions. Then there's things that they want to know.
right.
So we talked a couple weeks ago about creativity,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure I espoused my longtime love for Saturday Night Live
Yeah, you did.
when we talked about that.
Yep.
Judge me if you will. To me, that is like well, that's not true. I didn't say what I thought, so I did. But like it's not just like the show that I love. It's like the collaborative enclave that creates, and so like those things have always fascinated me. So like
Yeah.
to have been a part of like Jim Henson's crew.
I don't even know who that is, but yeah. Who?
Wait, maybe
who,
I
who is
said
that?
that wrong. Listen,
Maybe,
you don't know who Jim Henson is.
no, I'm gonna look him up right now.
Oh, Lara, my heart.
I
Okay,
I get. Let's see, Jim Hansen.
Henson.
Okay, rhymes with Jensen. Okay, got it.
Okay, listen, I can't bear this. He is the creator of the Muppets.
Oh, okay.
And in the news today is guess who spoke? He passed away. He's gone. But guess who spoke at the University of Maryland's commencement? Who their celebrity
Oh, Kermit.
Kermit the Frog.
I just saw it.
Kermit, they got Kermit.
Kermit the Frog tells University of Maryland graduates. I wonder what he told them, but he gave this speech.
Yes, it's awesome. It's so cool.
That's
like-
really cool.
I mean, you know Kermit, right? You know Kermit the Frog.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I
yeah.
do know him.
Jeez. That'd have been the end of the stream. That'd have been,
Yeah,
I'm out.
exactly.
We're
We
done.
were-
Kill it.
You
But
were
yeah.
off the podcast. Okay, yeah, no,
Yeah, so that's kind of like Jim Henson
yep,
was the brainchild behind all of that, and he collated or not collated. He collected this group of incredible creative people.
yeah.
I met somebody on the weekend that is an architect that his company builds the stuff that Disney dreams up.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, Disney has the
Imagineers.
Imagineers.
Yeah, the Imagineers. Yeah.
Yeah. So like all of that, those
Wow.
groups of people that are like being so creative and have like
Yeah.
this uniquely singular kind of singular focus, but a broad vision. Like they can do it any way they want. They can.
Right.
They're not constrained, but they have this set thing that they're trying to do. And so this has just been kind of prevalent on my mind. So I started a book this week also it's just called Lorne. And it's about the guy that created Saturday Night Live.
Yep. I do know him.
I am loving this book, by the way.
What's it called?
It's just called Lorne.
Lorne. Okay.
Yeah, and it's great. So I'm doing it with the because we had this long drive, and so I did the audio book.
Right.
It was a blast. Let's see.
Okay.
Hey, David's here. Hey,
Hello, David.
hi, David. Yes, Maryland. Um, yeah. So and I think
Wow.
here's why I would recommend anybody that does anything where they're creating anything. Like youth ministry, we're creating stuff. We're creating a culture.
All
We're
the
creating
time.
experiences. It's a great book to listen to because you're seeing someone who's fairly singular in their experience, someone that's done something for 50
Hmm.
years.
Yeah.
Who everyone that's the big speculation. It's the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live. Who is going to take this over? Who has
Hmm.
the capacity to do this? Highlighting just how singular his talent is and his giftedness. But now you're kind
Right.
of going through time and seeing how it developed and the
Yeah.
decisions that he made and the choices that he made and what he
Mm.
valued
Hmm.
directed what he did,
Yeah.
which I just thought was really, really cool. So that's all that was to kind of transition into like what I'm consuming right now.
Yeah.
And are you reading anything fun? Any
Well,
category? You engaged in
um,
anything worthwhile?
let's see. I very rarely read novels. But when I do, it's like, okay, this is fun reading. So just a novel that's been like a fun thing to do. I think it's God of the Woods or In the Woods, but it's like a suspense thriller. Um, and it's set in upstate New York. And so my family has spent a great amount of time in upstate New York. So some of the places she mentions in the book, it's like
Wait,
this
that's a
camp.
bad idea. That's a
Yeah,
bad.
I
Don't
know.
read the scary book about the place you go. No.
Yeah. So I've been reading that just for like fun.
Yeah.
And then I been also reading for just ministry, Saturate by Jeff. Oh, what's his last name? I think it starts with uh, V. But he did Gospel Fluency. That book, if you guys are, oh, Vanderstelt, Jeff
Hmm.
Vanderstelt, Saturate. So I've been reading through that, which has been really good. And just being disciples of Jesus in everyday life. So that's what I've been reading.
Awesome.
Kind of, yeah,
What do
yep.
you what do you think is like what's your big takeaway so far from that? Like or what's
Um,
or just something that you're encouraged by or latching onto or a phrasing of something that you unique.
yeah, I think with Saturate, it's been, I guess, just a reminder of that life on life discipleship, and which is, nothing new, but I think just um, kind of a question I've been asking is like, is Jesus, like, does he have all of me or just parts of
Ooh.
me? You know what I mean? And so
Oh,
that really brought up that question reading that book. Like, I don't know if I've surrendered
I
all
know
of
the answer to
myself
that
to
question.
Jesus.
For me, no,
It's like a no. Like,
no.
does he saturate every part of my life? And so that's been a convicting thing to be like, no. I think there are parts that I give of like, okay, Jesus, you can have this part, but this over here, no, no, no. Like I'll try to work on that. I'll try to fix that. And so I've just been really convicted of the gospel changes every aspect of life and everything. The parts we don't even want to give to Jesus. He already knows about. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I even
it's
like
wild.
uh I struggle with the parts that of my life that it's not that I'm not giving to Jesus. It's like
Right.
that they're so dumb.
Yeah.
And they're like, is it okay that I'm doing something dumb or irrelevant
Right.
or the other day I tried my hand because like there's when you're a guy and you're over a certain age you have to make a commitment.
Hmm.
I'm either going to become an expert in World War II history or I'm going to smoke meats.
Yeah.
Every guy over a certain age, you're gonna when you meet them, you'll know which choice they made.
Yeah, that's well, yeah, my dad went the direction of smoking meats. So,
Yeah, yeah. Probably
we
doesn't know the name of
benefited
a
from it.
single World War II submarine.
Right.
Probably can't name one.
Nope.
Yeah, and so I went the smoking meats direction,
Yep.
and I was trying something that I've not cooked before, and it was like a day long effort, and I'm just going like, I'm really enjoying this, and there's nothing sinful about it, but I was like, does Jesus think I'm wasting my time
Yeah.
doing this? Like this
Yep.
is like so because it's like an hours long endeavor, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of enjoying it, and I'm like detached and disengaged, and I'm just like checking. I got my thermometer on my phone, and I'm checking the
Yeah.
temperature. Like, oh, gotta go, and I'm fussing on it. And I'm like for all day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is kind of dumb. That's kind of dumb.
That's how I feel when I go down the rabbit hole of, YouTube. It's like, oh,
Oh,
and it's like, this is so dumb. Like, I'm wasting my time on, watching other
do
people's lives.
and let's talk about that for a second because I I feel like I get a lot of stuff in my feed in my what I'm consuming online that are like ads or people that are advocating like maximum performance,
Hmm.
total focus,
Yeah.
drink this, use this
Hmm.
app, do this process, and you will
Yeah.
be the most efficient person in the
Hmm.
world.
Hmm.
Do you see that kind of stuff? Do you
Oh yeah. I do. And also, I find it really fascinating to um like something I've been watching on YouTube is just the efficiency of CEOs and their productivity and their crazy schedules of like they get up at 4 a.m. some of
Oh
them and
yeah.
and it's just and they work until 10 p.m. and so I find that so fascinating with just some CEOs like their crazy schedule and maximizing productivity and efficiency and so yeah, because I watch those videos, then I get a lot of the algorithm just okay, here's this thing of maximizing your productivity
But
or
I mean, do you think like this whole thing of like, Christ's lordship in our life?
yeah.
I think we're called to be good stewards, but I don't think
Hmm.
we're meant to have that kind of efficiency or always on
No.
or right? Like
No.
isn't it
Yeah.
kind of a pursuit of something that is not obtainable?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's almost every time I watch those videos, it's like, man, it's treating us like machines, like we're this machine that can or robots,
Yeah.
and there's little room, I think, to be human, like in those,
Oh my
just in the
gosh.
schedules and that's what we're called. Like we are human, we're human beings, and so I mean, that's something the Lord has really been kind of I don't know, just thinking about that part of just being and being at the feet of Jesus and resting and what does that look like? What does that mean? Because naturally I'm like, I gotta keep doing. And but yeah, every time I watch those videos, I'm like, oh gosh, we
Y-
weren't made for it.
Yeah, and
That kind of efficiency,
I think that we're
self
supposed to have
sufficiency.
room for dumb stuff,
Oh yeah,
which
I
is
think
kind of
so too.
how I bring that back cuz like there was an edifying aspect of my exercise the other day, which was
Hmm.
I was making a meal for a group of people.
Yeah.
And I was doing it for us to we were going to come together and we were going to enjoy that.
Hmm.
And I think that's a good thing to pour into. Like it didn't accomplish anything other than us spending an evening together and enjoying one another. Three
Yeah.
families that kind of came together.
Yep.
And I you could easily say like, why are you reading a book that has to do with a show that's kind of terrible?
Yeah.
But there's grace in everything, and
Yeah.
there's nothing necessarily debaucherous in the book. So I mean, so far it's not explicit
Right.
anyway, but it is. extolling certain positive things that I'm
Mhm.
learning from and learning about,
Yeah.
and as someone that's had been around for a while,
Yeah.
I can look back and see uh, d- things that people that I was exposed to that
Mhm.
shaped how I did ministry, or experiences that I had that were decisions that I made
Yeah.
35 years ago.
Right.
Seeing something going, oh, I don't like that. That's not. And now that I'm in this process where I'm being interviewed and and asked, and
Yeah.
all these questions about like what I think about this and what I think about that, it's kind of fun to go back and revisit some of that stuff,
Mhm. Yeah.
and think through it. There was a question someone asked me because I became a Christian in high
Yeah.
school via a youth ministry.
Yeah.
They asked, was that a motivation to go into youth ministry?
Hmm.
And I said, actually, it was the opposite.
Hmm. Okay.
It wasn't the like, oh, the guy I prayed with to accept Christ is so cool. I want to be that guy.
Mhm.
It actually had the opposite effect
Hmm.
in the sense of like, respecting and appreciating and never like when I started hearing the whispers to call the ministry, I was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
somebody? Were you
Yeah.
talking to him?
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and that kind of surprised the person, but that
Mhm.
was like, yeah, that's kind of. Uh, it was a very insightful question, I thought.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
that is.
just going through
Yeah.
this efficiency thing. I think that there's rest can take many forms.
Right. Yep.
There's a really neat book. I'm going to mess up the name. I read it a long time ago. I got to hear this guy speak at a conference. They are performance experts for CEOs and pro
Mhm.
athletes and all these things. And it was the power of full engagement is what they called it.
Hmm.
And we think rest is doing nothing.
Yeah.
And that's not what they say. That's actually not how we're designed. What they say is that
Yeah.
you're intended to disengage from one thing so that you can fully engage in something else.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
not go home and stay in bed all day. That actually never fills the rest.
No. Cause that's I'm like, oh, I'll just watch shows all day, and I'm like,
Right,
oh my
right.
gosh, that was not restful at all. That was horrible. I
Yeah,
need
you
sleep
go on a
now.
binge marathon and it's
Right.
like you don't feel better the next day
No.
or more rested.
Uh-uh. And every time it's I think oh yeah, I'm gonna feel rest when I binge watch a show, and it's like, nope, every time, nope. But yeah, I really like that definition of the engage, disengage, that language around that. Because
And the
that's
way
really
that
helpful to think about of just
yeah.
not doing nothing.
Well, cuz like, I'm not going to lie, when I first got married,
Yeah.
I would come home from the church and my wife would be just ready to talk to me, and
Mhm.
I'm a talker, but I have talked all day.
Right.
And I would be like, "Hey, I need like 10 minutes
Mhm.
to come in and
Yeah.
power down and then we can talk." And it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So then it was like, "Hey, honey, I need like 15 minutes." And it just kept
I
creeping
need an
up.
hour.
And yeah, and like my wife was like chomping at the bit and like trying to talk to me, and I'm like I'm like reduced to grunts at this point.
Right.
And I realized I was never going to have enough time
Mhm.
to be quiet to be ready to talk again. But if I could
Yeah.
view it as not engaging in work stuff and
Mhm.
engaging in home stuff,
Yeah.
that was an important shift for me. And I think that's what the Sabbath is really about.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think that's the miss. Uh, I have a joke. I'm like, there's nobody in Miami that's a strict Sabbatarian, and you probably know this in your
That's probably
community.
the case, yeah, here in Boca as well.
Well, especially like if you live in a community where people can afford a boat,
Oh yeah.
they're going on the boat on Sunday.
Yep.
Like nobody's. And
Yep.
I don't think that we're not supposed to not do anything
Mm-hmm.
as much as I think we're supposed to disengage from everything else and fully engage in Jesus.
Yeah.
Now that can happen different ways in different places. That can look different for you, but like,
Right.
can you worship God on a boat? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
you're not just because you're on the boat. Just because you can't doesn't mean that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
may say, "Oh, I see God in the ocean." Yeah, me too.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you know, I do. So I think that's a big key to like that shift of engagement from one thing to the other. I
Yeah.
think is an important part of rest and Sabbath
Yeah.
as a whole. You know,
Right.
and so that's
Right.
what I hope. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to the chat. What are you, if anybody's paying attention and listening, like what do you guys do to rest? What are some of the things that you do that
Yeah.
you engage in that helps you disengage? And I
Yeah.
think that's probably one of the chief complaints I hear about people that don't do youth ministry well
Mm-hmm.
is that they're not self-starters.
Yeah.
They don't have a drive. Like you have to be self-directed
Yep.
a lot. And if you're not that kind of person, you're not going to do a good job.
Mm-mm.
But what's the converse of that is the people that don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
They're so self-driven
Yeah.
that they're never not thinking about it, never not on the clock.
Yep.
And that's me. I'm a workaholic. Like that
No,
is.
same. That's yeah. I'm on that end of the spectrum where I have workaholism, and something that's been just really helpful for me is just going on walks, and with that it's either listening to a podcast, listening to worship music, listening to an audiobook. That's just been really helpful of kind of engaging fully into something else and exercising and um yeah, and I think too such a key piece in resting as well for us workaholics is the community, like having friendships, like not just these surface level friendships, but
Yeah.
like friendships where people truly know you. And I have found that that has been so helpful, of just getting together with people who really know me, and it helps me, um, I think, disengage from the work in to some degree. So that's been helpful. Okay, yeah, David said music. Um, it's such a uh,
By the
what?
way, David's an incredible musician, so I'm kind of disqualifying his answer.
Wait, okay, so this is okay. I don't know
Yeah,
this David.
this is David Harris. Yes,
Okay,
who led
uh,
worship at our PCA Next Gen conference.
okay,
Here's my
there it
OG, here's
is.
my OG shirt, the original,
Yep, that's the
the inaugural.
right, right.
But so this was Detroit, and our second one was in Maryland, and David and his brother are going to lead worship again. By the way, while I'm talking, Laura, this is where you let me vamp and you look up the dates because I don't know them off the top of my head.
Here we go.
But so the second year was at Chapelgate Presbyterian Church in near Baltimore, Maryland, and we're having it there again. And the same guys are going to lead worship. These guys are incredible. I talked to them about having them on the show. They're two of the most interesting people in youth ministry you'll ever meet. They're twins,
Okay,
and they've had this long and meandering road into youth ministry. And I've had the privilege of doing a retreat with, like a camp with them,
yeah,
and serving alongside them when I was in Maryland. And I can't wait to have them on the show. But I'm just teasing them because they're like, oh yeah, I like music. You don't like, I like music. I have a Spotify account. You are
right,
musicians.
yeah.
And that,
I
that doesn't count.
yeah, I think the dates are October 21st through the 23rd.
Yeah, which
I
will
think.
all be on the website. And the
Yep.
registration is open and live now.
Yep, that's what I was. Yep.
Yeah.
About to say, yeah, registration's open, so get your
So
spot.
this is silly and not really important, and I don't really believe in like a secular sacred kind of distinction to life, but not Christian stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of genres help you disengage? Like what are your genres that like I'm a big like sci-fi fantasy guy. I like that and Marvel. Like I love comic book
Yeah.
stuff. What are some of the things that like if you're gonna listen to a podcast or watch a movie or a TV show, what are those genres?
I love drama. I like a good
You
drama.
don't get enough. You
Yeah,
don't get
I
enough
know.
working for a church.
I know. Exactly. I'm like, give me more drama.
You work with middle.
Um,
You work with middle schoolers.
I know, and I just can't stay away from drama. I love it. It's so funny. My brother-in-law, maybe this was last summer or 2 summers ago, but I was sharing this story and just about what was going on in my life, and he goes, "You kind of like the drama, don't you?" And I'm like, I kind of do a little bit. So yeah, I love drama as far as like movies and TV shows. Like one of my favorite all-time, my all-time favorite TV show is Friday Night Lights. So I love it.
I have never watched that, and everyone tells me that I would love it.
Yeah, I think you would. Like the character development is really good. I've seen that show probably 3 or 4 times all the way through, and
Yeah.
there's 5 seasons. I like shows like This Is Us. Um,
Oh man. Yeah.
yeah. So really the tear jerkers, I guess, is what
You like that. You like
makes me
that
feel relaxed.
relational drama, that
Oh yeah, the
interpersonal.
relational. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to cry at the end of an episode. But I also like comedy too. Like Last Man Standing with
Tim
Tim
Allen.
Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really funny show. So things like that, sitcoms. Trying to think what else. Um, I love action
Oh yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
Well, so
Like the
I'm really
suspense,
psyched
like
about
espionage.
yeah. Oh, the Mission Impossible finale is
Yeah.
coming out.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we're kind of we're rewatching we like to, if we're gonna go away for a week,
Mhm.
and it's Catherine is my daughter is 17. This is waning. I'm
Okay.
losing this, but we would go away for a week and like maybe just be somewhere, some little town, and do stuff during the day. But then we would pick a series
Yeah.
to marathon. Like, hey, we have this many nights.
Yeah.
Let's watch all the Harry Potters. Let's watch all the
Yeah.
Rockies. Let's watch all the Mission Impossibles. So we've done that stuff,
I
and
love
so we're
that.
kind of rewatching Mission Impossible to get ready for.
When does it come out? June?
I think it's this weekend. I don't know. I'm not
I
entirely
think
sure.
it is. Yeah.
I think it's this
Okay.
weekend, and we can
Yeah,
say
they've
that
been
because this is a live show, so it's okay.
yeah, they've been hyping it up.
Oh
So
man,
like for the past year.
this is gonna be our last chance to see Tom Cruise take off his shirt and run. Like that's really what, if aliens like were like excavating our society millions of years from now, they're gonna think the word mission means not wearing a shirt and impossible means running. Like
There's
that's
running.
they're
Yep.
gonna that's clearly that
Yeah, that's
look
it.
at all these people jogging.
Tom
There, it's
Cruise.
mission Impossible.
Yeah. What about when it comes to music? What are some of your like
Oh
favorite
yeah.
genres?
So we would drive 14 hours
Mhm.
to go to the Edge from Miami to Covenant College. And when my assistant director started working with me, her name is Lauren. She asked me a question about music, and it was a good 6-hour answer.
Love it.
I don't know anything about the science of music. I don't know anything
Mhm.
about notes and that stuff. But I was raised in a house that really valued music, and the core of it was Motown
Mm.
and blues.
Okay.
And so that's where everything I love comes out of.
Mhm.
And that primarily, so there's like the blues itself, which I love, and Motown, which is almost like the pop extension of the blues.
Yeah.
You know, it was really cool. The guy that ran Motown Records in Detroit was a guy named Barry Gordy.
Okay.
And Barry Gordy was from the automobile industry, like anybody from Detroit would be.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they would release a record, he had all these artists and they would cut these records and he'd bring everybody in that worked there. Secretaries, janitors, didn't matter.
Yeah.
And they would play the record. And he says, "You're down to your last $5.
Wow.
Do you buy a sandwich or do you buy this record?" And if anybody picked the sandwich, they didn't release the record.
Okay.
So there was, a quality control element to it, but
Yeah.
then like it branches out into like classic rock. Like that's what drives a lot of the like the Rolling Stones, even the
Yep.
Beatles.
Yeah.
Those guys loved American music, and that's the heart of it, and that drove a lot of it. And and there's even really good rap and hip hop that get their roots from that and
Yeah.
drive out of that. And that's not my favorite genre, but I can hear it and I can appreciate. I'm like, I see
Yeah.
you.
That has some.
I see
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
You know, it's soul.
Yeah.
If there's soul in it,
Soul,
I
yep.
think there's value to it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's, and then I do love movie scores,
Oh yeah. Same.
right?
Like what's your some of your favorites?
So I'm kind of like a binge and purge kind of guy. Like I
Okay.
like will get onto something and like binge on it for a long time, and then I won't do it again for a very long time. But some of those have been like the Inception soundtrack.
Oh my gosh. That's one of my favorites.
And Jen would know, like, oh, you're like in deep think state, like you're planning your big picture.
Oh yeah.
You know, here's where it doesn't work. It does not help in sermon prep.
Yeah.
Like if I actually am preaching and need to write a sermon, movie soundtracks are dangerous because they Christian, like I'll get all worked up, but I'll start like, whoa, dial this back. Like you're
Wait.
having an emotional experience while you're trying to like, break down and understand the word, and you might be being dramatic here when you don't need to be because of what you're listening to.
Well, that's so funny you say that because when I like write my lessons, I am listening to movie scores, which is probably, I I'm always like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I get it. Where I'm like, wow, that's probably a really dramatic way of saying that. But I was also listening to the Inception, movie score.
David just said John Williams. Like
Yep.
there's a documentary about him that I have not watched yet. I mean, like that guy
Yeah.
is iconic and has written all the most incredible things that we all know and love.
Yeah, I'm such a fan of Hans Zimmer.
It's so good, so good. Howard Shore.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Yep.
I can't say the dude's name. I cannot say his name to save my life. But he's the guy that Michael G something, because I can't get. He does all of.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Let me pull up my.
Like he did the soundtrack to Lost,
Yep.
and I'm blanking on the guy that helped create Lost. He's like done Star Trek movies and Star Wars movies, the director, and I'm totally blanking on him. But he does a lot of work.
Abrams.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams. He does a
J.J.
lot of
Abrams.
J.J. Abrams stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I love music. Is really helpful to me. It
Yeah.
helps me calm down. It helps me get hyped up. Like, here's an important music question. And David, I want to know your answer too. Lara, do you listen to the music that matches the mood that you're in? Or can you listen to any music anytime? Like if you're sad, can you not listen to happy music? Do you only want to listen to sad music? Or, I'll give an example.
Yeah.
I walked into my dorm room, and my roommate had the song Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel.
Okay.
And I was like, what's wrong? Are you okay? He's like, what? This is a good song. It's like a sad, emotional song. But I'm like, are you, like, it was disturbing to me. I was like, are you okay? Because if I was listening to this song, I'm in bad shape.
Yeah.
Conversely, he walks into the room, he hears one sad song on repeat, and he knows it's battle stations. Like,
You're right.
what was her name? What did she
Yeah.
do? Who
Yeah.
broke your heart?
Right. Who do we need to talk to? Yeah, that
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It honestly depends, but I think I definitely listen to music based on my mood. I tend to
Yeah.
lean a little bit more in that direction, but or sometimes the weather. So anytime it's
Ooh,
raining, I listen to Bon Iver. Like I there's just something about when it's raining, it's gloomy. I'm like, I'm in the mood to listen to Bon Iver.
that's the same
Um,
answer though. It's just that the weather has affected your mood.
yeah, that is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then other times, if I'm angry, then I
Ooh,
used to
ooh.
listen to a lot of heavy, like not heavy metal, but uh like screamo music in high school. Like I really got into Underoath, and I
Man, I
remember
really
going.
just saw Lara jumping from the stage into the mosh pit and
I
throwing
got
elbows.
I got pushed into a mosh pit, and I thought I would never make it out of, like, I saw my life flash before my eyes at multiple occasions as these big guys were just swinging their arms around,
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
gosh.
I'm gonna die. This is it. Gonna meet Jesus at this Under Oath concert in this mosh pit. But yeah, so sometimes I found myself, I don't listen to it as much, but sometimes I found myself um listening to it when I'm like, man, I'm just like angry, or I want to work out, and this is good motivating music.
Nothing
But
elevates a song for me though more than it being used really well in a movie or a TV show.
yeah,
That will make me like a song more than I would have just on its own. Because
yeah, I
then
think
you attach it to something.
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I love shows like This Is Us and Parenthood, because they do such a great job of just putting the right song to that
Yeah,
moment. Um, what? Okay, David's. Yeah,
I can. Yeah,
yeah. So it's a little bit of, yeah, a little
a
bit
little
of
bit of
both.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then there are moments where it's just like one of my favorite bands is Need to Breathe. So I will listen to them a lot, or Johnny Swim or Noah Kahn. So those are ones that are just people on repeat that I'll listen to, depending. It doesn't matter the mood, the weather. They're just
So,
go tos.
classic question:
Yeah.
Desert Island Band. You have their whole catalog, but you can only take one band. You'll have everything they've recorded, collaborations, etc. In a format that will persist in whatever environment you're in. Whatever no,
Mm,
it can be vinyl. It doesn't matter. Like there's no like. Do you know what the environmental conditions not a concern? What's the one band? And I really want to know what David would pick too, because that's like a crazy question. Do I need
yeah.
to go for? I know mine.
No. Yeah. Go. Yeah. What would it be?
Queen.
Okay.
Queen every time.
Every time.
Every time. They are my Beatles. I love the Beatles, but like they're my Beatles. Like they have a vast array
Mm-mm.
of styles in their catalog, so you can list. So you have like, they were over such an extensive period of time, so that they transitioned from what was
Yeah.
uh, big at the time, very different styles of songs, moods, tempos,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff, and it was just like I would say, I just like for those of you guys that are youngins, I didn't discover Queen till 1992, so it
Okay.
wasn't like I was there in the beginning. Okay, I know I'm old, but I'm not that old.
I was 2 years
Um,
old.
in 1992.
Yeah.
Well, they're obviously from the 70s, so that's
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
So, but you know what made them resurrected them
W-
was a
Was
movie
it
that came out in 1992 It
Which
was Wayne's World.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Was
Bohemian
what
Rhapsody.
was on.
Everyone knows We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, but like,
Right.
Mike Myers makes this goofy movie about kids like where I grew up on a public access TV show, and the producers like insisted that he use Guns N' Roses at the time because that was really big and
Hmm.
really popular. He's like, no, has to be Bohemian, and he had to fight to get Bohemian Rhapsody in the movie.
Wow.
And that's where they're in the car and they're all singing all the different parts and they all are headbanging to it,
Yes,
and
okay.
that brought about that was my exposure to Queen, my first exposure to like them as a band. So then I just went all in and
Right.
started listening to it. So that's who I fell in love with. And then the other end of the bookmark of that, or not bookmark, book holder, whatever,
Yeah.
bookend. The other bookend of
Okay.
that, sorry, I can talk. The other bookend of that is when they made the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, which is like the biopic,
Yeah.
kind of loosely interpreted biopic of Queen. They're trying to pitch Bohemian Rhapsody, and they
Yeah.
have this greasy, weird-looking guy as the producers. Like, no one's going to listen to this song. This is
Yeah.
not a song that kids are going to like get excited to hear in the car. And it was Mike Myers
Huh.
playing the executive, like with all this, makeup and a bad wig and all this stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
not a bad wig, but like a wig of really bad hair,
Right.
looking like unrecognizable as Mike Myers criticizing Bohemian Rhapsody, the song that he fought for to get
That
it
he
to a
fought for,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really neat. So that's
Oh,
my desert island
Queen.
Queen. Yeah,
I mean, I would say it would have to be Need to Breathe for me. I don't get sick of listening to them.
wow,
Like at all. Um so yeah, I it would be them
that's
for
awesome.
sure. For sure.
Well, I think that's it for today. This has
Yeah.
just been kind of our Lara and Matt Hang conversation. With
Yeah.
maybe some little nuggets in there for you, but we just like hanging out together. We like hanging out with you. But this is our penultimate episode for this season, and next
Mhm.
Friday is our last live show for the summer. So we'll take a little break, and we're gonna have a very special guest because we talk about this all the time. We talk about the CDM, PCA, next gen. We throw these terms around, but we're gonna have Stephen Estock on to kind of explain to us what is the CDM, the Committee for Discipleship Ministries, what all do they do, what is their full scope, kind of the history of our team, and how that's evolved. So I really can't wait for you guys to hear that and for us to talk. He's kind of our boss.
Yeah.
He's kind of like he's our Lorne Michaels. He's the guy that we
Yes.
like want to make happy and
Yeah.
pray that anybody that sees our podcast and thinks that we're talking, we're like, oh, I hope nobody complains about this.
Yeah.
Just-
Exactly.
that's the dad we don't want to disappoint.
Yeah.
So and he's a really wonderful guy.
He
So I
is.
look forward to having him. We will see you guys next week. Thanks, Lara.
Yep. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
David. Bye.
Bye.